Hello there, today we have the final mech video of the year, well, at least the final video where we build mechs. I don't know if I'll do a collection of mech video where I go over all the mechs, so perhaps stay tuned for that, I don't know. But today we'll be looking at the Lego Sonic mechs. Now I'm honestly in love with the Lego line. I'm debating whether to buy the Lego sets in the new year. They are a bit more pricey where they're not being picked up on sale, so I might end up waiting to pick them up on a sale and eventually probably creating mechs for Shadow and Rouge too, which I think actually in my Sonic video I pronounced the name Rogue because I had Rogue One in my mind from Star Wars, but it is Rouge, so if I did confuse you or if you noticed that, I do apologise. But today we'll be taking a look at 3 Lego Sonic mechs. So of course we have Sonic here, who we'll take a closer look at in a minute, but we also have mechs for Tails and Amy, which are really interesting to build as Sonic is mostly a minifigure from the shoulders down and does have that cool moulded head, but Amy's got the skirt piece that we have to account for, and Tails has his towels, which do make a problem when you're trying to fit them in a normal Lego mech. So let's take a look at these now in a lot more detail. So as you can see with Sonic, he's using all of the custom mech techniques that I've put together. He's got hinges on his arms here, which I guess do look a lot better in this bent position because they look a bit skinny at the elbow when they're straight. But you can have them angled at any point. I guess it's still better to stay within the Lego restrictions, but you can have it straight if you really do want to. And that is true for both arms. You've got the nice flesh coloured light tan bricks to represent his light nougat arms, which aren't exactly the same colour, but for the mech it gets the idea across. And you've also got the back piece, which I've put together myself using a few different Lego pieces and actually use the slopes at the bottom rather than the inverted 45 slopes, which are the straighter angled ones. And of course the leg joints are custom built together using a few different pieces. In fact, they can be straightened just like so and even bend as much as a Lego brick. Now for the boots, they are in universe all wearing the same boots, so the shoes are actually put together pretty simply, straightforward, and all identical across the 3 mechs. I've just used two 2x2 red bricks and this round bit to get the nice round sole of the boot, and even added a white stripe on the lower leg. And I think especially for the boot size, it does represent it quite well and just looks nice that it's the same across the 3 mechs, because even the printing for the boots are more or less the same. I guess Sonic does actually have a strap, which I could have put in, and the rest don't have that side of leg printing, but the characters in universe do. And I have changed the legs to be different colours based on who the mech is, but pretty much from the waist down it's fairly similar across the 3 mechs. Now I did run out of the nice finger pieces that they use for the Star Wars mechs, and we have seen images of the new Marvel mechs which do show that they're using the bigger, bulkier droid arms rather than them pieces. I don't know why Lego have chosen that. Perhaps Marvel fans prefer the bigger fingers, which, to be fair, for some of the mechs they are created do look a bit nicer. A lot nicer than the weird looking fingers they use for Thanos, that's for sure. But I feel like these hands don't really look too bad as fingers, so perhaps to try and build these mechs a bit more cheaper than having to buy a load of piece of bricklink, I'll use these for the future. But we do have the hands with the white gloves, well, the white thumbprint and the coloured knuckles here for each of the characters. Sonic has this nice triangular torso piece with the plate on top, because I could have included another fleshy colour plate or tile for his chest, but it just didn't look right for Sonic. I need to get a lot more blue. I don't have many of these other Lego elements in blue, so had to use all the blue I could where I could, and especially on the back, adding these inverted slopes on the underside just to represent some of the spikes that Sonic would have. It sort of continues the pattern from the top of his head and enables it to come down the back. So I think it looks really cool and just adds a bit more angles and that sharpness to Sonic that we're used to seeing. So that is the Sonic mech, and the next mech I'll bring in is Amy, because as I said, the legs are all the same and Amy's arms are pretty similar to Sonic's too, but instead of having the spikes on the back of the mech, the main thing here is accommodating that skirt piece. So if we move the arm out of the way, you can see that Amy's still standing on the black panel at the bottom. I mean, she's somewhat standing on it, but all I've done is built out the front of this mech to sort of house the skirt piece, come around it, and because of how far the front comes out, actually included 2 corner panels there to, I guess, hold Amy in, stop her from wobbling out one of the sides. So it's a slight change for the mech, but still similar enough that the 3 of them look really cool next to each other. And I guess if you wanted to, you could even include a few of the animals from the original set in Amy's hands, as she's probably protecting the animals, or at least finding them a new home in the mech. That's definitely what should be put in the mech for. And on the legs, you can see just under the new mold for the Lego skirt piece, she is wearing some bright pink trousers. So I've included a bright pink plate. I don't have any tiles. I don't have any sort of modified tiles or plates even. So bright pink plates was the best I can do. And that just continues a bit of the design from the minifigure on the mech. You can see at the side how it does look like the minifigure, of course. No white on the side of the leg printing, but that would have made the set much more expensive. And now we have the last of the 3 mechs, and of course it's probably the most realistic one for the Sonic universe, as Miles Prowler, or Tails as he is also known, is much more of the scientist thinker when compared to the other 2. And for that, I've actually modified Tails' mech to be a bit more of a actual controllable mech. You see, the other 2 just have the minifigure stood in there, whereas Tails actually has a whole little cockpit with all these different controls that he can use to control the mech and use it to do what he needs to do. So this is actually detachable, as is Tails. They're only clipped onto 2 Lego pieces each, which means the clutch power is enough to keep them from falling off, but not enough to make them stuck there. And of course, Tails is standing one further than Sonic and Amy because of the 2 Tails on his back, which has been replicated on the mech. It would have been lovely if I had these pieces in white, but both of them just I don't have in white. I'm pretty sure at least this bottom one exists in white, and I'm not sure about this piece here, but I'm going to assume it exists in white and I just haven't picked it up. But you had to have the 2 Tails on the back of Tails, of course. You can't have Tails without his Tails. And overall, I think these 3 mechs do look really cool. They're definitely a fun addition to my mech collection. And as far as the Sonic line goes, we've of course got the Knuckles mech. I'll put an image on screen now in case you haven't seen it. But it would be interesting to see if we get any more Sonic mechs. There's a load of Lego mechs recently, and of course mechs do tend to be here one moment, gone the next. But I'd love to see some actual Lego mechs in this size, especially if we can get some of that Marvel treatment and include a bonus minifigure with them. It'd be a great idea if they don't include Sonic in any of the summer sets to just include the Sonic as a mech for people that haven't picked him up, and similar to the Mandalorian being included in every single Mandalorian set besides the Pirate Snub Fighter. It'd be a fun way to include that popular figure in a cheaper set that you can pick up with another one, which honestly would get them more money. They just need to swap out the minifigure for a more specific one and include the general minifigures like Sonic in these smaller sets. Perhaps we get a mech this year. Next year Sonic can have a little microfighter style build in Tails' plane, and that just means we get more of our favourite Hedgehog characters in the summer sets. So let me know what you think of these mechs, and this is going to be the last mech video of this year, so I hope you did enjoy them. Stay tuned for more in 2024, and as always, may the bricks be with you.